finished up this 3D carving of an eagle a couple of weeks ago. If you want to check out that video, take a look at my channel. Definitely go ahead and subscribe and turn on notifications if you're going to do that. Card on the bottom here. So this is going to be a coffee table. The first thing I got to do is go ahead and get colors on the inside and on the outside to match the eagle. For the inside of this piece, I've already CNC'd out. As you can see, I have the shape of the eagle right now. That's about 3/4 inch deep. I'm going to paint that, stain that a darker color so that it can bring out the fresh color of this eagle. I'll have color on the inside, color on the outside, a layer of epoxy sealing in the 3D piece of artwork here. And then I will also hit it with a layer of tabletop epoxy, and depending on how that looks, may follow up with another coat of tabletop or 3 coats total of tabletop epoxy. So I have here Moz tabletop and Moz deep bore epoxy. For the first part of the project, I have red stucco tape and advanced silicone, waterproof, outdoor, indoor. It doesn't really matter what kind of stuff you use. The main idea is to just keep the epoxy in so that it's not leaking out of the bottom. This wood, when I started, was pretty rough, so I sanded it up to 240. Created the eagle. This took me about 10 hours to cut out on the CNC. So that's going to be the main image of the piece. And then also I pinned this up on the CNC and cut out the actual profile for the eagle, 3/4 inch deep. This way I can set the whole eagle in epoxy and then cover that with a layer of tabletop. I think it'll look really nice, but we're going to find out. So I'm going to stain the inside portion under the eagle a antique brown. This comes out really dark. So my next job is to get these plugged so that I can go ahead and fill in the first layer of resin. Hindsight's always 20/20, but I really should have filled these before I made the eagle carving to accept the 3D piece. That would have made this a lot easier, but here we are. So I'm going to take my silicone and tape. I'm going to be using 3 pieces of plywood in combination with that silicone to get these holes plugged up. Basically, I'm just going to have a layer of silicone, pancake this down on top of that, on top of that, on top of that, and then we'll pour resin in from the other side and let gravity do the rest. Oh my gosh. Okay. Guess that's what we're getting. This is going to be a real thick layer because I really don't want anything getting through. That would be bad. Epoxy is expensive. Alright y'all, time to move on to the epoxy. So for this layer, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the holes that I just sealed. I have 3 of them, and then I'm going to have a light layer on the bottom, and I'm going to go ahead and get my 3D eagle set and glued down. So I'm going to mix about 32 ounces, because I have a project over here to my left that I can use the extra if I need to. So I'm not going to calculate this one. I do need to go ahead and fill the holes over there in that other project anyways, so I'll just make a little bit extra. I'm just going to start off by pouring a little bit into the holes because I want to make sure that the seals that I put on yesterday are actually going to hold. This could get quite disastrous if it turns out that those are going to leak. And I've already leveled this workpiece, so I know that it's leveled from left to right. Alright, wood willing our seals hold. Let's try it out. Alright, so I'm going to start with the middle one. I'm just going to do a little bit. And then
Let's take a look underneath to see if our seals are holding. My left hole here did start leaking from under the silicone seal, so I was able to do some quick thinking here, and I got two 2x4s and clamped them down to get the seal between the plywood and the silicone a lot tighter, and that appears to have stopped the leak on both sides. So I'm going to pour a little bit more just to make sure. That should be okay. Okay. Nice. It's looking real good.
Looks pretty good. I'm liking what I'm seeing here. So this is Ma's Deep Pour. Right now it almost has no bubbles in it. It's been about 15 minutes since I poured it, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm usually fighting with bubbles like crazy, so now I just gotta wait for 24 hours, then we can go on to the next step. After I was done with the deep pour, I went ahead and put it back up on the CNC and used my surfacing bit to flatten both sides again. This allowed me to take off the excess epoxy from the front side, and then I went ahead and used my handheld router to cut these slots for the legs. I picked up these legs from Amazon. They were about 60 bucks. They have a section on the bottom there to accept another level of tabletop. So I have this secondary project panel that I cut out, stained it with golden oak, and I also restained the top itself with golden oak because after I resurfaced it, I decided on a different color. All done. So this weighs about 45, 50 pounds, I would guess. This is the bottom side of it. Got the legs all put together. So initially this coffee tabletop was a three pieces of yellow pine that Lowe's put together, and they were trying to sell it off for 100 bucks. I grabbed one of these up at discount at 30 bucks, and I've been working it ever since. I think this piece is going to look really nice with the rest of my collection.